Let me ask you something. When you think about retirement, what's the first question that pops into your head? If you're like most people, it's probably, how much money do I need to retire? Maybe you've heard you need $1 million, or maybe someone told you it should be 10 times your salary. But here's the thing, you're asking the wrong question. And that wrong question is costing you clarity, it's costing you confidence, and it might even be costing you years of your life that you could be spending in retirement. I'm Josh Maley, and I work with clients who have built real wealth, typically between $1 million and $5 million in net worth. These are successful people, many of whom built or sold businesses, and they all make this same mistake when they first come to see me. They obsess over hitting some magic number instead of understanding what actually matters. So today, I'm going to flip your entire approach to retirement planning on its head. Chapter 1, the fatal flaw in traditional retirement thinking. Here's what happens when you focus on net worth instead of income. You spend years checking your account balances, watching the market, feeling good when things go up and anxious when they go down. But at the end of the day, you still can't answer the one question that actually determines whether you can retire. How much money will I have to live on each month? Imagine two different people getting ready to retire. The first person has saved $2 million. Sounds great, right? But they have no pension, their Social Security will only be about $24,000 a year, and they want to spend $120,000 per year in retirement. The second person has only about $800,000 saved. That's less than half, but they have a pension paying $40,000 per year, Social Security giving them another $30,000, and they only need $80,000 total to fund their lifestyle. So who's in a better position to retire? It's not even close. It's the second person. Because retirement isn't about what you can have, it's about what you can spend. A high net worth without reliable cash flow doesn't cover your living expenses, protect you from market volatility, or keep pace with inflation. Retirement isn't about how much money you have in the bank. It's about how much you can reliably spend without risking running out of money. That means thinking about immediate cash reserves, income producing sources like Social Security, pensions, and even annuities, and then figuring out how much your portfolio needs to generate to fill the gap. Chapter 2, why the 4% rule is broken and what we can do instead. You've probably heard of the 4% rule. It says you can withdraw 4% of your portfolio each year in retirement, and your money should last 30 years. So if you have $1 million, you can take out $40,000 per year. Pretty simple math, right? Well, here's the problem. The 4% rule is outdated and potentially risky. Not even the person who invented the rule agrees with it anymore. In a really strong market, it can actually be far too conservative. And in a bear market, it introduces risk because of something called sequence of returns. Let's say you retire with $1 million and plan to take out $40,000 per year. Then the market drops 20% in your first year of retirement. Now the portfolio is worth $800,000, and that $40,000 withdrawal represents 5% instead of 4%. If expenses keep rising and the market doesn't recover quickly, you're in trouble. The real issue is that fixed withdrawal rules don't account for real life. Markets go up and down. Your expenses change. Healthcare costs spike. Maybe you need a new car or want to help a grandchild with college. The 4% rule assumes everything stays perfectly steady, and we all know that's not how life works. Instead, focus on building multiple income streams. Social Security is one. A pension is another if you have it. Then look at what gap remains between your income sources and your actual spending needs. That gap is what your portfolio needs to fill. And that number, that gap, is way more important than your total net worth. Chapter 3, the Income First Retirement Framework. Let me walk you through how we approach this with our clients at Modern Capital in 3 simple steps. Step 1, calculate your actual spending needs. Not what you think you need, not some percentage of your current income, your actual expenses. Housing, food, healthcare, insurance, travel, entertainment, everything. Most people guess they need about 70 to 80% of their pre-retirement income, but I want you to get specific. Add it all up. Let's say it comes out to $7,000 a month or $84,000 a year. Step 2 is identify those guaranteed income sources. This is your Social Security benefit, any pension you might have, maybe rental income from a property, or annuity payments. Let's say your Social Security is $30,000 per year and you have no pension. That's $30,000 of your $84,000 is covered. Step 3. Calculate the gap. In this hypothetical example, you need $84,000, but only have $30,000 coming in guaranteed. Your gap is $54,000 per year. Now you can work backwards. If you want to be conservative and you use a 4% withdrawal rate, you need about $1.35 million in your portfolio to generate that $54,000. But here's the key. That number is specific to you, your spending, and your situation. It's not some arbitrary $1 million target that you read about online. You're not guessing at multiples of your salary or following rules of thumb. You're creating a personalized plan based on your actual life. Chapter 4, why net worth multiples don't tell the whole story. A lot of retirement advice talks about having certain multiples of your income saved. Fidelity, for instance, suggests having 1 times your salary saved by age 30, 3 times by your late 30s, 6 times by age 50, 8 times by 60, and ideally 20 times of your final income by the time you retire. These are helpful benchmarks, but they're not the final answer. Those multiples assume you're earning a steady salary your whole career and that your spending in retirement will be a consistent percentage of that income. But what if you're a business owner whose income fluctuated wildly over the years? What if you're planning to move to a lower cost of living area in retirement? What if you've already paid off your mortgage? The median net worth for Americans aged 55 to 64 is approximately $185,000, while the average is $1.56 million, skewed heavily by the ultra wealthy. But those numbers don't tell you if those people can actually retire comfortably. Someone with $185,000 saved but a pension and low expenses might be fine. Someone with $1.5 million but high spending and no other income might struggle. The point is this: net worth benchmarks are useful for tracking progress, but they're not the finish line. Income is the finish line. Can you generate enough income from all sources, Social Security, pensions, portfolio withdrawals, to cover your spending? That's what matters. Chapter 5, real world example. How this changes everything. Let's imagine someone who's 62 years old with $1.2 million saved. They're making $120,000 per year right now and wondering if they can retire. Using the old way of thinking, they might panic. I only have 10 times my salary. The rule says I need 20 times. But let's use an income first framework instead. They sit down, map out their expenses. Turns out they need about $6,500 per month or $78,000 per year to live the retirement they want. That includes travel. They check their Social Security statement and they see they'd get about $2,500 per month if they claim at 62, which is $30,000 per year. Now we calculate the gap. 78,000 minus 30,000 equals 48,000. That's what they need from their portfolio annually. Using a 4% withdrawal rate, that requires 1.2 million. That's what they have. Suddenly, retirement isn't some distant dream. They can do it right now. Compare that to someone with $2 million saved, but who wants to spend $120,000 per year with only $20,000 coming from Social Security. They need to fill a $100,000 gap, which requires $2.5 million at a 4% withdrawal rate. Despite having more money, they're actually not ready yet. See the difference? It's not about the number in your account. It's about whether that number can generate the income you need. Chapter 6, how to implement this today. So how do you really actually put this into practice? Here are 3 specific steps you can take this week. First, track your spending for at least 1 month, ideally 3 to 6 months. Use an app, a spreadsheet, whatever works for you. Categorize everything: housing, food, healthcare, discretionary spending. This gives you a realistic baseline for what retirement will cost. Don't guess, know. Second, get your Social Security statement. You can create an account at ssa.gov and see your estimated benefits at different claiming ages: 62, your full retirement age, and then 70. This is one of your biggest income sources in retirement, so you need to know what it looks like. If you have a pension, get the details on that too: when you're eligible, how much you'll receive, and whether it has a cost of living adjustment. Third, do the gap calculation. Take your annual expenses and subtract your guaranteed income sources. Whatever's left is what your portfolio needs to cover. Then work backwards using a sustainable withdrawal rate. 4% is a common starting point, though you might adjust based on your age, risk tolerance, and other factors. This exercise alone will give you more clarity about your retirement readiness than obsessing over account balances ever will. And if you realize you have questions or want someone to walk through this with you in detail, that's exactly what we do at Modern Capital. We help people figure out not just if they can retire, how to do it in the most tax-efficient, sustainable way possible. Look, I get it. Retirement planning can feel overwhelming, especially when you've worked hard to build wealth and you want to make sure you get this right. But it doesn't have to be complicated. The most important shift you can make is moving from how much do I need to how much income can I generate. If you want help creating your personalized plan, visit our website at moderncapital.com. That's mdrncapital.com. We work virtually with clients nationwide, so it doesn't matter where you live. We can walk through your specific situation, calculate your income gap, and create a strategy that gives you confidence about your retirement timeline. Don't spend another year guessing about whether you have enough. Let's find out together.